Good morning, evening. It is the weekend right now, and I'm just gonna go over the trade I took this week. Weekly review, as always. And this is for the week of February 2nd. God damn, let me turn this shit down. There we go. I took one trade. I'm not proud of this trade. Yeah, I think I know the reason why I took this trade is because I was feeling a sense of FOMO, or I don't even say FOMO, more like greed for not taking trades in the first 3 days. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no setups in the market. Gold was just looking extremely bullish. Volume always came in, and essentially the move happened before my trading time, which is at 7 o'clock. It is what it is. But in that sense, I'm very glad that I didn't force any trades on those 3 days. But Thursday was the day that I cracked a little bit. That day was just I wasn't even here on my computer. I woke up late. I was going through personal stuff, and yeah, I still decided to take a look at the markets on my phone in my bed and place a stupid trade. But if there's one thing I can learn from this, it was that I'm getting a lot better at just calling it quits when I know I shouldn't, knowing where I am emotionally. Well, I'm very self-aware now of how I'm acting in that moment. So, despite me taking a trade on this day and it not being any of my setups, I sized down to one con, kept risk very low, but it's these trades that will eat away at the profits. I want to essentially be as consistent as possible, and this day did not show any consistency at all. And so what I want to do moving forward towards the next couple of weeks, and eventually doing it for the rest of my life, as I'll be trading for the rest of my life, keep these rules just above the screen right here so that when I'm trading, I always see it. It's like a subconscious programming that every time I take a trade or just even watching the markets, I have what I need to focus on, right? I have the entries, the type ones, type two, type threes, what I want to work on. I need to utilize this more often. Like I do have this, but when I'm journaling or inputting my trades, I don't focus on this. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting it like this, scroll up, I'll have it look like keep it up like that. And then I'll have the charts down right below it. But let's go ahead and deep dive into this one trade I took. I didn't even journal it because there was no setup, in my opinion. There was no clear setup. I wasn't utilizing my strategy. I thought I was at the moment, but when I take a look back at it, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so just to review what my strategy is, it's based on three simple steps: finding an area of interest, figuring out direction, switch that, identify direction. What the identify direction, identify area of interest, and then wait for a lower time frame shift, which is my type 3 shift, which essentially is supposed to look like this, right? You have a shift in structure on the lower time frame, add an area of interest to move lower. And so let's go ahead and review this trade. Let's see if any of these criterias were met. Criterias were met. Jesus, I'm a little sped right now, but other than that, a very great week overall. I was extremely productive. Very glad that I do have my real estate job on the side. So that really keeps my mind off of things, especially when I'm trading the financial markets. So staying busy throughout the day was very good. Um, as for, maintaining the state of being profitable, sure, in the morning, I didn't have that state of being. I was definitely rushing trades and doing things that my unprofitable self would have done. But I didn't let that affect the rest of my day. I still went to the gym. I did not want to go to the gym that day. That day was like just mentally just thrown off. But I got my ass in the gym and I cranked out a workout. Got to the got into the office, did my work, cranked that shit out, put in effort. I was very conscious of everything I was doing, or I tried to be as conscious as possible with everything I was doing, because I think that's the best way to really move with intention is to be conscious of your actions and habits. And so for me, I'm very glad that I was extremely self-aware of what I was doing wrong in the trading day, and just being able to separate myself from the outcome of this day during the trading day was very good. After I got home, I also ended up journaling the trade. I could have easily just put this away, just been waved it off and not include it in my stats. But it's days like this where I need to track, and everyone, if you're watching this, if you're not, you should be tracking these days as well, because the only way to break these habits is to journal them and make yourself so aware of it that you realize how uncomfortable it makes you when you're committing these actions. So you can say commit, right? Like you're not following your rules, you're not following your plan, even though you know you should be doing. There's a gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. So you want to be able to close that gap. And journaling is the best way to do it. Tom, I need to stop saying Tom trades, whatever. Tom, the person that I damn near adopted everything from for my trading style and the way I journal. He's amazing. Go definitely check him out. He's the one that taught me how to do all of this, and just his course is just so amazing. So I strongly recommend his posts. I recommend you follow him. I recommend you have him as a mentor, because he teaches things. He teaches psychology. He teaches strategy. He just breaks down the idea of self mastery so easily and in such a good way that there's just always so much to learn from him. So I truly appreciate that, and I have so much gratitude for him, even though I have never met him in person. But just one of the best online mentors that I've definitely had in my whole trading career. I definitely think that he has helped me improve the most, and his trading style is one that really resonates with me. So, you don't have to adopt his trading style, but I would recommend you check out how he explains the steps to being a profitable trader, because he puts it in a way that no other trader does, and I truly appreciate that. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling on now. Let's go ahead and get into this. So overall direction, extremely bearish. We had a bearish close on the 4-hour time frame, closing beyond these levels with a type 2, right? Close beyond this level, type 2 bearish. At the 1 hour, also closed type 2 bearish. Same thing with 30. 15 closed type 1 bullish. 30 or 5 minute also closed bullish with really strong bullish candles. 1 minute, there was no type 3 shift. This is why I didn't want to journal it, because there was no shift in this. So my I guess you could say thought process when I was laying in my bed being a little lazy sack of shit, it was, okay, we're retesting this level. We're seeing weakness on the 1 minute, which is terrible. That's not how I should be trading. I should be waiting for some sort of candle confirmation close, which I did get on the 5 minute. We got 5 minute candle close bearish, but it wasn't a strong bearish engulfing candle. It wasn't showing signs of slowing down momentum. It was more of a consolidation phase in this short-term uptrend, right? 15 minute also closed bullish type 1, where we already put in that lower wick to move higher. Not really much. Sure, we have the 30 minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour close in our favor. However, if we take out how big this bearish close was, we have to see these type twos and paying attention to the candle behavior, how strong this bearish move was. This move was extremely strong. So there's a fat range where it theoretically you wanted to see price put a wick and then flip lower, but how far will this wick go up? Right. And so with that in mind, seeing how there's just this big range to fill, my mistake was definitely not waiting for confirmation on the 5 and 15, the medium time frames, to really confirm that we want to continue lower. And that just had to do with my lack of patience. And also, we take a look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour at this time of day was extremely bullish, right? Let me see if I can identify it right here. This was just looking at the daily, right? Extremely bullish. This day was on the 6th. So we take a look, extremely bullish. There's no reason for me to short at all. We're breaking above these highs. There are no highs to the left, so there's no reason for me to attempt to short this at all, especially based off the higher time frame. Uh, I will go over here real quick just to give you guys a clear, clear visual of what I was seeing at that time. So, right. So this is what the previous 4 hour candle close looked like. But this is 2 hour. Sorry. So, although we had a close bearish, look at where we closed bearish at. We didn't close beyond this area of interest. We had price essentially break and retest, right? This is a key area of interest where price had a higher probability of bouncing on the larger time frame. And that was my mistake. I didn't see this because in that comes from a lack of preparation. This could have been avoided if I had just prepared. Lesson learned. We move on. And so yeah, so very good reason. I mean, I'm very glad that the trade resulted in a loss anyways, because if I won that trade, that would have reinforced very bad habits. That's not what we want. So it's a good learning lesson. So I'm very appreciative of that. Maybe at that moment it was affecting me quite a bit. I was like, oh fuck. Like how it goes when you take a losing trade when you shouldn't have taken a losing trade, but it is what it is. We move on. And so this was just that trade for the week. We can also go over the two trades that I did miss out on. And this was just due to, I would say, lack of confidence. I definitely could have been on the trade, but it is what it is. We're not gonna hold ourselves against that. So 4 hour close, type two bullish closing beyond this level. We do have a 1 hour level right here. But because we had a strong bullish close, we could look to anticipate for a pullback and then move higher for a continuation. And so that's what we did have. We take a look right here. You will see this shift come very soon. So if I play, remember, I play the type three shifts, right? Here's a low, here's a high that we made, internal lower high, broke that low, still protected by this high, low, and then we immediately took out this previous high, and that's the type three shift. So if I draw it out right here, right, and this is kind of where you have to trust your intuition in a way, and I think that's something that I didn't do. I didn't really trust this type three, and the reason is there are two ways of trading in the markets. You have objective data and then you have subjective data, right? So we know what a type three shift looks like, but it's not always going to look perfect, right? Like this is a very ideal shift. A clear break of the highs, pull back around that in the discount range of the previous high and low, and then target the highs, right? That's the model. Here we got that. I think for me, I was looking to see if price could move a little bit higher. I mean, we did move a little higher, but I just didn't trust my gut. Like, I think just seeing how strong this candle came in scared me, and I didn't take it. But if we take a look, if I had taken the trade right there, like right around that area or whatever, right, and it just had stops below the lows, I was in for that would have been 3 point risk. Target would be just a break of these highs because or we could even just have targeted the highs first with the cool 1.5, which is very good. Um, we, I for the strategy, I focus more on being consistent. I don't want to be consistently perfect. So I personally like when I am right more times than I'm wrong. And so with this, how this trade plays out, we got that 1.5 R in which we could have definitely scaled out half of my position and then let the rest ride and have stops at break even. And then usually what I would do, because we're at all-time highs, the next target would be that 2R and then 2.5 R. So let's see what happens. We pull back a little bit and I would have gone out for a nice 3R trade. But realistically, probably scaled out all at 2.5s. But it is what it is. We have that data. That's something as I was watching, it was very painful to watch move without me, but it is what it is. And so I'm very proud of myself for actually setting the goal that day to just exercise a lot more patience and just really focus on reinforcing those good habits because I didn't um I didn't do that the previous day. So, despite me missing this, I think it was very good that I sat sat off and I just really wanted to wait for the right setup and we got that. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. The confirmations also that aligned with this type 3 shift would have been we have the previous 5 minute also close bullish as well. That's a good sign. And just the 30 minute 1 hour and the 4 hour had already put in those upper wicks. So, you know, it is what it is. It was a very good looking setup. I just didn't act on it and move on. As for NASDAQ was a trade I was potentially looking at, but I didn't really want to take it just due to the fact that we were just pretty bearish, right? We had a fat pullback. And if we take a look at the larger time frames, where is that pullback happening at? Like this range right here, which we could have scalped for short-term longs, but I think that seeing price just have so much volume move to the downside, I would have been more on the bearish end, right? But yeah, I don't even want to review this trade because this trade was not even like the cleanest. But this is another example of subjective versus being on focus on objective data, right? So we do have a type 3 shift, right? We have a low, we have a high, low, and then we break this high. It takes some time, but we do break this high in which you could have played the pullback and then look to target these highs. First target would definitely be here just because we're in such a strong bearish move, and then look to target this area of interest, right? In which I was looking to potentially take a trade, but I was very focused on just following the trend. And in my opinion, I didn't really like the way that this was moving, right? So we had a 15 bullish type 1 close, but just taking a look at this, it just looked like a range. And so I didn't have any confidence. I think there's going to be a point where we get a 5 minute bullish close. Yeah, so we got a 5 minute bullish close, but we just never retested that area. And I really try my best to align all the time frames, and then we just immediately dump. So TP1 would have hit, and then stops would have been a break even, but it's not a trade felt comfortable putting risk on. It was just more of, okay, let me mentally place this trade, see how it plays out, and I'm very glad that I trust my intuition and not take it because overall, like I said, very strong bearish move. I'm not comfortable taking pullback trades with such a large move like that. So very glad I stayed away from that. But other than that, those were pretty much the only trades I was eyeing on Thursday and Friday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday didn't have too much. So very glad that I had one learning lesson, you know, but goals for next week definitely just really focus on the state of being that I'm trying to acquire, which is not even try to acquire, in which I already do, which is being a profitable trader. And I do that by just journaling every day, focusing on the consistent executions, consistent daily habits that I have to really just build that repetition and also build more confidence in myself, just as a person in general, knowing that when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Other than that, very great week. I feel like I'm rambling on here, but I do want to start pumping out some other content. So we'll see what I can. But other than that, that's just going to be the end of this weekly review. I'm very proud, and I hope whoever's watching is doing very well for themselves as well. If you have any questions, you can always DM me uh, on Instagram. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and see you guys.